Welcome in again, everybody, to Coach's Corner on the Auburn Undercover podcast. We're joined again today by former Auburn defensive coordinator Ellis Johnson. Before we get started, click like and subscribe below. It helps keep us in your feed and supports our work. Ellis, good to be with you.
Good to be here.
Well, let's get started. You know, a lot of Auburn fans are pretty disgruntled with the transfer portal. Cam Coleman hit the portal yesterday, and you know, it's my belief, and I want to get your take. It's my belief that, you know, Auburn's got almost $30 million to spend, and so you're losing a bunch of players, but there are going to be a bunch of players in the portal, and so, you know, before people judge Golish, I think we need to see what happens in, you know, when the portal season is over.
I noticed that one I guess I saw it yesterday, but that's pretty big news because he was such a top signee, I guess. But and you don't want to lose any of them, especially ones that you feel like are really good players and can contribute. But I'm sure they can, you know, get what they need in the portal and some of the recruits too.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the other thing is, it hadn't worked for the last, you know, I mean, Freeze had great recruiting classes every year, and it didn't work. So,
yep.
You know,
well, it's hard to develop. It's hard to build a program up with high school recruiting when you're in a conference like the SEC. And I don't like the way things are going on these days, but I just don't see if you can go on the portal and pick up transfers and they don't have to sit out. I mean, the way they've changed everything, it's just it's too easy. I don't say easy. It's just too logical that you can get better players that can help you sooner in the portal. They may not be better, but they're better at the time. You ain't got time in the SEC to be building up a depth chart. No,
I mean, look at Auburn's last. You know, I mean, we'll see. I mean, Gus made it 8 or 9 years, but I mean, you know, this is 3, and Auburn's had 4 coaches in 5 miles on, and then Harsin lasted 1.5 years, and Freeze lasted 2.5. So what's that? 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, you got what, 4 coaches in 5 years.
Yep. And not to mention the amount of staff members that are turning over and all that too. And that's a lot of recruiting area and, you know, knowledge. And I don't know if this is true today, but I just always remember in recruiting, I always felt like it took me 2 full years to have my area to where I knew where the players were coming from and had a communication with them rather than just coming in the door and try to catch up in 3 months and beat a school that's been recruiting a kid for 2 years. I mean, it's just very hard to do. So if you've had some time in a recruiting area, that's a big thing too. A recruiting coach, an assistant coach. Some of those things matter also. Now, they don't matter with the portal, but if you're going to have a good recruiting class, that's hard to do when you're turning over staff and head coaches every 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, and I'm guessing, I mean, Auburn's always recruited Florida heavily, and I'm guessing with some of those guys that have worked at South Florida, I would guess that Auburn would start hitting Florida hard again. I mean, there was one point in time. I mean, Auburn had 5 starters on the team from Dillard.
Yep. I think Coach Bud had a connection down there. It might have been either his brother-in-law or his brother was a superintendent or a principal or something in that school district. And yeah, they made a living down there for a while, and not just Dillard, but Dillard did. They had a bunch of them from Dillard. But that's the kind of thing you have to have when you get away from your immediate area. You got to have some kind of connection where you got somebody working for you, keeping you informed and helping you. And, you know, it's almost like having an extension of a coach already on the scene right there.
You know, it's interesting. Auburn has, you know, Durkin was obviously the head coach at Maryland for a couple of years, but I think Auburn's got 4 or 5 players from one school on the team from Maryland, which is, you know, for Auburn, that's pretty strange. In this day and time, I mean, I my guess is that, looking at this staff, my guess is they're going to recruit nationally.
Well, I think everybody has to now. And I don't know if I need to get crazy with it, but I do think you have to be somewhat conscious of whatever you're looking for in your culture. But that DC area now, the high school football up there, I've always heard it's not real good. But
Tidewater is pretty decent.
Tidewater's loaded.
Yeah.
But the DC area, South Carolina's signed 3 or 4 over 4-year period, 3 or 4 up there, really good players. And that's some of the guys that Beamer hired. They had been coaching in those areas up there, and they recruited it heavily. So, Auburn sent me up there one time to check on the kid, and we just head coach at a big high school up there had just been hired. He was an Auburn player, and Kariba Dede. I don't know if you remember him, but he was just getting there. He didn't really have a connection with the players yet either. And I can't remember the kid I went up there to see, but got to visit with him. It was during that period of time you could speak to him. But it just, we just couldn't get a foothold. You have to have somebody up there working for you. And I think later they might have gotten in on a kid that he had up there that he was able to help him with and get in and get to know the kid better. But it's hard to go into areas like that if you don't already have something established.
Yeah, and I mean it really is. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how Golish does because it's easy to fall in love with Auburn, but it's real easy for the fans to fall out of love with you. Just like anywhere else. But Golish has been on campus. I think he's been on campus a couple of days. He went over to one of the basketball game the other night right after he was hired, and he says, "I've been here 2 days, and I think this is the best place in America." Well, wait
it is right now.
Yeah, where do you lose 6 or 7 games? Where the last? Well, it's been the last 5 years, and see how much you love it.
That's what one of our old sayings. I can't remember where I heard it, but some coach told me one day, said, "Yeah, get all you can right now, because the longer you stay here, you ain't making any more friends, just making enemies."
That's right. Hey, Ron Zook used to say, he had some sayings between him and Trickett and some other guys. But I mean, Zook always said, "You better be nice to guys on the way up because you're probably going to meet them on the way back down."
Yeah.
But let's talk a little bit about the playoff.
Okay.
What were your thoughts?
The opening rounds you're talking about?
Well, we talk. The game's coming up this on
the upcoming games. Yeah,
on the 31st and the first.
To oversimplify, kind of sum it up. My gut feeling right now, it's going to be Oregon, Indiana, Georgia, and Ohio State. Now, if you call me tomorrow, I might change those. But I'm saying that facetiously. I think this is a great matchup on this round. We couldn't say that about the first round. The first round had some ugly matchups, and we don't need to rehash all that. But even the 2 games that were, good Power 4 teams and were good matchups, the games were decided by who made mistakes, not somebody making a great play and taking the game as a victory. And I think we're going to see something a little different this round. I think Texas Tech's got a shot, to beat Oregon. And, you got a dominant defense, but I don't know if they're good enough on both sides of the ball. And Oregon's pretty doggone good on defense. And I just think I just don't see Texas Tech scored enough points. And I don't think they're going to hold Oregon down, to less than 20-something points. So that's why I favor Oregon in that one. The rest of them are really hard to pick. Alabama, Indiana, and I know even the bookies have got a 6-point spread on that one, I think. I don't know how you bet against Indiana with the way they've won every game they've played, but you just got to feel like at some point in time it's going to run out.
I mean, it's up to 7 now, so somebody's taking it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, and I understand it because what they've done. They went to Oregon and won. They went to a neutral site, beat Ohio State. I mean, they've had some pretty rough things thrown at them, but they've come through on all of them. But Ronnie, the other thing that grabs me, somebody did a breakdown on all the teams in the playoffs. I keep looking over here because that's where all the notes are. But they broke it down to every team in the playoffs, how many 5-stars, how many 4-stars, how many 3-stars, et cetera, are on that team. Alabama, if you count the 5s and 4s and add them up together, they got 64. Indiana's got 7. And
Wow.
you just look at that and think, how in the hell can they not be better than Indiana? Well, the reason is Indiana, most of those kids he brought with him, hell, some of them came with him from Elon to James Madison and then to Indiana. Most of them just came from James Madison. He's done an excellent job with the portal, not by numbers bringing them in, but boy, has he brought fits and the right selections and the right guys to help him become better. And obviously, the quarterback's the first one to come to mind. But that's really a weird game when you look at it now.
Yeah.
The Alabama's been through a hell of a lot tougher track.
Yes.
And so they've lost a couple of games this year, and Indiana hasn't. But I don't think Indiana's been down the same track they've been. So we'll see. If Alabama finds a running game, and I don't mean 220 yards. I mean, if they get to 100 yards running the football, they'll beat Indiana. Now, that's a big if, because they haven't done it. I don't know how many times. I think they've done it twice this whole year. And so I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. I know the offensive line coach well and worked with him at Southern Miss, and he didn't forget how to coach. So I'm not sure, and like, I mean, a lot of it sometimes is not the line. It's a fullback misses a block or whatever. But they haven't been able to run the ball all year at all.
And they did that. The running backs were not healthy during a little small 2 or 3 week window. I think one of them was hurt, and then another one was hurt, and so forth. And I think their offensive line's talented, but it just, some of them were out in and out a little bit too. But it's just a mystery to me. Now, I will say this: some coordinators, it's in their DNA. I mean, they're going to throw first and try to run second if they get you out of there. But so far, they're not really throwing it well enough to get people out of the box, and they still can't run it. So we'll see. Last round, they played a really good Oklahoma defense, and they were aggressive and came after them and all that. And Simpson did not turn the football over, even under extreme pressure with, 28 yards rushing, I think, by memory. Let's see what it said. 28 yards rushing. That's a lot of pressure on a kid. I mean, I'm not talking pass rush pressure only. I'm talking about pressure to make the right throw, keep third down, stay on the field. You got no running game. The only way you can stay on the field is a quarterback throwing the football to somebody, whether it's a quick screen or a flare pass or a hook or a hitch or something else. I mean, you ain't got to be throwing the ball down the field every time. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see whether talent or execution, I guess I'd say, what wins in the game.
Alabama reminds me, and you may have been coaching at Alabama at the time, but Alabama reminds me of 97 Auburn team. And we couldn't run the ball a lick. And we had some average running backs and some let's see, how can I put this? Height challenged running backs. We had more scat backs than we needed, and not big backs. But we lost to Mississippi State, and it wasn't looking good, and had an off week, and Terry changed the offense completely. And he called Damian and he said, "Hey, come on, Damian, let's go try to win the Heisman." And he said, "We're gonna throw it every down because we sure as hell can't run it." So we end up winning 10 games. And that staff, I mean, Brother Oliver and Pete Jenkins, Joe Witt, Jack Hines was certainly unconventional. But I mean, it's pretty good staff. I mean, Terry will still tell you, all the years he was coaching, he said that's probably the best coaching job that we did. And we lost Tennessee by 1 point and should have beaten them.
Yep, that was good. And Mississippi State had a good football team back then. They had some talent. But that was my first year back, I guess, at Alabama. You said 97?
97.
Yeah, that was my first year back from Clemson. But I do remember it, and the game we played at Auburn, the final game, and we had a chance to beat them, and we fumbled on a screen pass on third down that would have got us out of that series or whatever. But that I didn't remember y'all throwing it as much as you're reminding me. But that definitely was
we couldn't do anything.
Strength of the offense was throwing the football.
Yeah, we couldn't do anything that game. We were in the Iron Bowl, and we were terrible. It was, Freddie was a quarterback for Alabama, and but we couldn't piss a drop. I mean,
I don't remember what we did something a little different in the perimeter. We played a man-free scheme that looked like cover three, with the way we changed it, and we had been more of a quarters look. If we went to cover three, we would buzz the strong safety inside, and that was our 3D. We went to a man free where we put strong safety down and outside, and the free safety back in the middle, and just changed it. I don't know if that bothered them or not, but we didn't play cover three all night. We played man free out of that alignment, and I don't know if that was a problem or not, but I do remember they were just off key. I mean, they weren't.
We just couldn't, and then, the Ed Sissom fumble, the screen pass out, and Houston just hit him right on the ball. I didn't think it was necessarily a bad call. He just helmet right on the ball, and we ended up recovering the fumble, and I remember Damien completed a pass to Hickspoor, and Jarrett, forget his last name anyway, kicked the field goal with no time left. I've still got a piece of the damn goalpost that they tore down. Sitting on my desk in there.
But that's I should get into that. But that's when Mike and Bruce they kind of decided to part ways, and I don't know what the heck. I mean, I didn't think it was. I wanted them to just run the ball. I didn't say anything, but I wanted them to just run the football because I thought even we burn time out and get better field position. And like you say, we've been playing okay on the defensive side. However, if we got that first down, it was over.
It was over
because of the time on the clock. So I didn't think it was a bad decision. I didn't know who decided what play to run. It was a fake double screen. That did put a little more time in it and a little more high risk. But as you said, the ball was completed, and he had tucked it and turned. If not, it wouldn't have been an incomplete pass. Mm-hmm. So I don't fault the play. It was just a really great play by the kid from Auburn, getting the hat on the ball.
And he made some Martavius Houston. I mean, he made some great plays for us all year. I mean, the whole time he was there. Back to the playoff, I tend to agree with you. I've got Oregon over Texas Tech. And I'm still trying to decide on Alabama and Indiana. I think I'm like you. I think if Alabama can run the ball a little bit, they win the game. But and they're certainly more battle tested, I think, than Indiana. But I mean, Indiana, those guys, they play hard and they play together, and they look more like a team than Alabama does.
Absolutely, and more than most of the rest of the teams. Mm-hmm. And I think they may have the best quarterback still in it.
Yep.
I would have voted, if I had a vote, I'd have voted for Pavia for the Heisman, not because he's better than this kid, but because I think he did more for his team and over a stretch of 2 years. But that way, after it was all over, the way he hacked in some of the stuff he said, I'm glad he didn't win it. But I thought he was more important to his team and the best football player in America. But Mendoza, I mean, he's been fantastic. And I think, no question, if you ask me which one, I'd want him or Stockton the rest of the way. And I don't think Stockton is a great quarterback, but he's a great leader. And he's gotten better throwing the ball down the field. But I just, in that situation, those two guys, I think, are two of the best you could have out of what's remaining.
Hey, I would agree with you. And I'm not sure that, and we've talked about it before, I'm not sure Georgia was the best team in the country 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago. They may be now. I don't like the matchup for Ole Miss. I mean, they're going in, they're playing in Athens. It'll be a great atmosphere. But again, I mean, Ole Miss has figured out a way to win 11 games. So they're doing something right now. They won last week, but I'm not sure beating Tulane in the first round is any huge accomplishment. But hey, they've won 11 games, and give them credit.
Yep. I think it was probably helpful for them to have a game at first round, and of course playing at home too. But having a team they should beat and that they did beat, with all the coaching staff changes, for them to have that one under their belt, I think will help them in this next game. I'm a little concerned, Pete taking over the head coach duties and still calling the defenses. I watched, even Venables doing it this year. It should sound like it's just as easy to do it and call defenses as it is to call offenses. I just think when you got the ball in possession, there are more times for head coach decisions to be made. And so you've got control of the offense and the timeouts and all that good stuff. I mean, as a coordinator over the years, I had to always holler at the head coach on the phone to say, hey, we may need a timeout. I didn't get to call one. Now, if you're the coordinator and the head coach of one defense, you call one if you want it, if you need it. But I just think that's going to probably be a little bit tougher on him this go around. And he's not going to be playing a team where he's ahead of them 14 points in the first 8 minutes. Yep. So I think that's going to be a tough draw for him. And I do think Georgia, like you said, Georgia's playing the best football in America right now. Well, at least they did the last 2 or 3 times they went out. Now, is the layoff going to hurt them? We'll see. The layoff may bother some of these teams more than we think. I thought that it would be on the college level. I'd rather get a bye simply because of the physical nature of playing 4 games in a row, try to beat 4 teams in a row that are worthy of top 15 ranking. I just think that's going to be hard to do. If anybody's going to do it, it's going to probably be Oregon. I don't think anybody else out of that first round is going to get to the next round.
I'm with you on. I think Georgia wins, and then I don't see Miami going to Ohio State and winning. I could be wrong. I mean, neither one of them played a real tough schedule, but Ohio State's probably played a tougher one than Miami. But with the cold and the atmosphere,
they're playing in the bowl games this time.
Oh, that's right. You're right. You're exactly right. They're playing in the Cotton Bowl.
They're in the Cotton. Is that in Jerry World?
Yeah, it is. And so I made a mistake. So Georgia and Ole Miss are playing in the Sugar Bowl. Thanks for correcting me. Alabama, Indiana in the Rose Bowl, and Oregon, Texas Tech in the Capital One Orange Bowl. So,
well, believe it or not, they say the worst weather might be the Rose Bowl. I guess it's raining out there or something.
They've had bad storms and snow and all kinds of weather out there. Of course, it was 19, I think, here last night. So I'm not a fan of this weather. But
no.
So who are you sticking with? Before we go, who are you sticking with for the national championship? Or are you?
I think it's going to be Oregon and Georgia.
Who wins?
I think Georgia will beat them.
I think I agree with you, but I may change my mind by tomorrow.
Well, I've got mine all right here in writing, in pencil. I've changed them about 6 times already.
Well, it's good to be with you again this week.
Yep, enjoyed it being here, man.
Same here. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you again next week.